I am a huge fan of the Milwaukee and DeWalt inflators. They rock. I use them in all kinds of different places. Keep them in the trailers, keep them in cars, use them in side-by-sides. They're perfect for that. But in many cases, like if you need something small on a motorcycle, and in my case an Enduro where I'm on and off the road, they're too large for me to carry, so I'm searching for something that's smaller, reliable, and also gives me a power bank. So if I needed to charge my phone or charge something else very small out on the trail, I am able to. This Fantic here might be the ticket. I don't know. I'm gonna test this out on cars so you guys can see what it'll do, not only on normal car pressures, but also in the upper areas of 80 PSI. This will go from 0 to 150. I don't like anything like this when I get over 80 some PSI because they're super, super slow. But I'll give you all the times on this. We'll run through this guy top to bottom. Stay with us. So when we first turn this guy on, we have 000 up here because that's the pressure that is inside wherever you hook it up to. It's got 40 PSI down here for what we're targeted to. We can change that by pushing and holding the mode button to bar or KPA. We're going to stay with PSI, just simpler. So connect this guy up. We're at 33. Tire says it should be at 44. Go there, push start. Three minutes, 23 seconds. That's not horrible. It does say that it's at 45 PSI, not 44. We'll check it out. We are down 1 bar. The manual says this will actually run 40 minutes, which that's not gonna work out unless that is off. The hose is fairly hot, not hot to the point you can't touch it, but it is definitely warm. Let's check this guy out. We're at about 46. 46 on here. So plus or minus 2 is not too bad. Let's just go check this out on something that's a little more PSI, see how it does. 76 is where that gauge says this is at. And this says 74, within 2 PSI. That's kind of reasonable. Let's just push this up on this to 76. Let's see how long it takes 2 PSI up in this range. Says 77 here. It's not bad. We were at 2 minutes 36 seconds. Fairly quick, I guess, for this higher PSI. Let's see what this gauge says that we're at. 79. So 2 PSI off again. Not horrible, but definitely off slightly, which you would expect. Plus or minus 2 PSI is what these things are said to be. Just to make things even on the truck, I'm going to pump up the other tire to about the same place and also see what happens with the battery. After pumping the other tire up to the same place, we're at half battery. That's fair, but not perfect. This tire too is probably incredibly low when we're looking at it. This truck's been sitting for almost a year. So 32 PSI, take this guy down to 44. And then let's see what the battery is after. 108, 115, 120. She's warm. After inflating the last tire and I said we had half battery, I just simply walked inside and we came down 1 bar. So we did 4 tires. 2 were pretty large increases in PSI. We went from 32 to 44 on a fairly large tire. 2 were higher pressure where we went up 2 PSI, closer to 80 PSI there. And we took this down to nothing, which is not surprising. That is what we would see in the DeWalt, the Milwaukee, the Ryobi, the Rigid, any of those. But realistically, I think if you're purchasing this, you're purchasing it for the size and also the ability to use it as a power bank in an emergency. So it's nice to store. So realistically, going from what we'll call summertime air to wintertime air, where you might need to add 2, 3, 4 PSI, this will do it, no issue. It does seem to get warm, but they all seem to get warm, so that is no different than anything you'd see in Milwaukee, DeWalt, or the higher end models. The only difference is this has a battery inside and its size is much better. It also includes a light that you'll find on the front, which is much more convenient when you unscrew this. And it also has an SOS mode on it, so that works. You have a power bank in the back. Let me just bring you in quick. I'll walk you around this. And look at that, we're back to half bar. So what we have here is basically simple modes. This mode that we're in right now is their basic mode. If you push the mode button, it'll go to a car where it's gonna set itself up for car tires. It's gonna always default to bar. So you push the menu button and hold, go to KPA, push the menu button and hold, and we get to PSI. That's kind of annoying to me, but it is what it is, so I can use the car function. I don't really see a big deal with that other than it kind of sets you up to what it thinks most car tire pressure should be. Use the plus or minus to go from there. Hit the mode again, it takes you over to a motorcycle setting, which I thought was gonna be cool because maybe it would set you up for motorcycle tires and be a little bit more precise. It's gonna set you up again on bar, so you have to push and hold the menu button, push and hold again, and you get to PSI. So it sets you up what it thinks average motorcycle tires are gonna be. So then if you can push the menu again and get to bicycle, again, it is at PSI here, but you can push and hold and go to bar, KPA, but it's nice that it is on PSI on this, and then this will just rock you and roll you through. Push again, it goes to its basketball mode where it sets you up to where it thinks it should be at 8 PSI. And then we can hit the menu, go back to just normal. We're at a half PSI there for some reason. Car, run through. So however you use this, it can be precise. Look what we have here, 2.6 bar. Well, that's bar, not PSI. And that's a big difference between PSI. But it is gonna always be off that plus or minus 2 PSI. That's standard across the board. This thing is small. There is not a swivel on this hose, so when you screw it in, it is what it is. The other downside that I see of this is that this is wide open. There's no plug to put in this. There is your Presta valve here that you can screw into the other end to change, and there is a needle valve that comes with it, but no plug to put in here. And I would like to see some sort of plug, so for me it's gonna be something, but you do have a case to throw this in, but where I use this in the mud and anything else, I want to protect that. Other end, you have a USB-C in and a USB-A out. This is awesome. I can charge my phone when I'm on the trail, so I like that. This unit will turn off after 3 minutes of use over 120 PSI. It'll also turn off after 5 minutes of use, under 5 PSI because it's feeling like it's getting nowhere or may have turned on without anything connected to it. So it's, protecting you from a false turn on there. And other than that, it's pretty basic. It'll turn off after no use. It'll automatically turn itself on when you plug it in. Pretty nice for something that's small, but it may not be for everyone. And that's it. Well, my purpose is totally different than what I showed you, and I think this will work well for what I need it for, since I need something small I can put on the back of a bike and rock and roll, change between the road PSI and the trail PSI. It works for me, probably not what everybody wants. And again, it's if you want to take the risk on a newer product that's out there, completely up to you. I'll leave links in the description to a lot of things that we have out on Inflators. Always looking for your comments. Love to hear what you guys think about this. If you have any other suggestions about what to use on a bike, I'd also like to see that. My motorcycle stuff, I'm inflating from anywhere from 5 PSI up to 16 to 20, depending on what I'm riding and what's happening. So I think it's important to have something that you can change quickly when you leave the trail and get on the road. Always appreciate that. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.